Instead of spending money buying a new shade every time you redecorate, do this. I grabbed a shade from an old lamp that I had at home. It was much taller than I need, so I marked 2 inches from the bottom and cut off the remaining using scissors. Then I removed the metal ring from the cut off piece and also removed the plastic clips that were holding the ring. Next, I glued those clips back to the newly cut bottom edge of the lampshade. Then put the ring back in. Next, I used a bunch of these half-round dowels. Each are about 12 inches long. I marked a starting line on the shade and superglued the first dowel, leaving 1.5 inch overhang on one end. Clamped the first piece in place and glued the second with a slightly shorter overhang, and did the same with the third and fourth in a staggered pattern. I repeated this pattern and fixed the dowels all around the shade. To personalize it, I applied a beautiful light green paint to the lower end. I wanted the green to gradually flow into the wooden dowels, so I used the paintbrush to smudge the edges of the paint towards the top. Finally finished it with a wood sealer. It is ready to mount, and now I have a beautiful Scandinavian-inspired pendant lamp with clean lines and minimalistic design to complement the rest of my home.
Head to your local thrift store to pick up a woven wicker or rattan basket. Start this project with a paintbrush and some white paint to dry brush all over the basket surface to give it an aged look. Take a longer piece of jute rope and separate the weave on the bottom or cut through it to feed the rope through. Tie a knot on the inner part of the basket on the other side. Get battery-operated puck lights with a remote off of Amazon. 2 strips of Gorilla Tape and place them on the back of the puck light. Then place the puck light on the inner part of the bottom of the basket. Then hang this in your favorite outdoor seating area. There you have it, a cheap way to create your own easy DIY boho outdoor pendant light for your home for less than $10. I hope this inspired you to try this upcycled outdoor project.
I have a light in my work area, and unfortunately the shade fell and broke. Looking through my supplies, I found this burlap covered metal ring that fits perfectly around the light fixture. To give the light fixture some depth, I've pulled out 12 beads from my pile, 2 in each size that I had. I want to create strands of beads that I can hang off the metal ring. So I'm going to thread the 12 beads from largest to smallest onto a thin piece of this jute twine. With all of the beads strung, it's time to add them to the metal ring. To hold each strand of beads in place, I'm wrapping the end of the twine around the ring, and then I'm just going to use a little dab of hot glue to keep it in place. I've already gone ahead and put several plugs and hooks into the ceiling around the light fixture, so now all I have to do is slip the ring up over the light and then secure it onto the hooks. I'm absolutely loving how unique this boho chic light looks now. It's the perfect solution for this particular light. I hope this has inspired you to give your light a makeover as well.
Do you have a lampshade that has started to yellow or is just looking a little tired? First, make sure that your piece of wallpaper is large enough to cover the lampshade. Next, set an edge of your lampshade against one edge of the wallpaper. Measure in 1/2 inch to 1 inch and mark it by running a pencil where the shade meets the paper. Now you have an overage border on both sides of the wallpaper. Spray the outside of the lampshade with spray adhesive. I gave my shade 2 light coats of spray adhesive. Using your pencil markings as your guide, roll the lampshade onto the wallpaper, pressing and smoothing as you go. If you need to lift and restart, no problem. The shade will stay tacky from the adhesive. Next, apply double-sided tape to the inside lip of the top and bottom of the lampshade. This tape can be very sticky, so place it where you want it first and then remove the outer coating strip on the tape. Wrap the overage border of the wallpaper over the edge of the shade and press onto the double-stick tape. Because you are working on a curve, you may need to include an occasional fold or pleat in the paper as you go. We're not done with the double-stick tape yet. Take some more tape and apply it to the top and bottom of the lampshade on top of the wallpaper and fold over the edge. Then take some ribbon in a coordinating color and press half of the width onto the double stick tape by lining it up together with the edge. Do this for the top and bottom of the shade. Fold the ribbon over the top edge and secure on the inside of the shade. If your ribbon is not quite wide enough to cover the double stick tape, you can apply another layer of the ribbon on the inside of the shade. Continue the lamp makeover by spray painting the base of your lamp in a color that coordinates with your wallpaper. I hope this inspired you to give a tired and worn out lampshade a stylish makeover with just a little wallpaper.
We are going to take a plain white lampshade and we're going to turn it into a super cool anthropology style lampshade. Grab some hot glue and put a bead of glue along one side of your lampshade and then add some twine or jute. And we're going to wrap that around the lampshade until we cover the entire thing. What's great about this project is you can use an old lampshade that you can get like from a thrift store. I happened to get one at Walmart that had a little ding and a little tear in one spot. So it was marked all the way down to like $4, which was a great deal. So one of the things I learned when I was doing this, you're going to keep wrapping it around and you're going to intermittently add glue. You don't have to do it after each strand. It's just if you notice that it's maybe coming up a little more than you'd like, you can also just keep wrapping it and then add glue afterwards. Just kind of lift it up a little and put a little bead of glue in there. And I just kept doing this until I filled the entire lampshade. After we completely filled the lampshade with the twine or jute, we are going to make tassels to hang from this. So grab a piece of cardboard and you want it about 3.5 inches in height and just wrap some yarn around it. I'd say about 25 times or the thickness of a tassel that you would want. Then grab about 3 or 4 inches of your yarn and slide that through all the way to the top and make a double knot. Next, you're going to grab your scissors and you are going to cut the bottom loops, and then you can take that right off of your cardboard and then trim any excess that you have that may be lingering there. Then grab about a 3-inch piece of your yarn and put that towards the top I'd say about 3/4 of an inch down, and make a double knot there, and that's going to make the top of your tassel. Then you're going to want to trim those little excess pieces where you made your knot. So this is the yarn version, but my favorite is to use rope, which is a soft cotton rope, and to make tassels this way. So you're going to measure the cotton rope about 10 inches, and you're just going to cut a bunch of these. Each one of these pieces is going to make 3 tassels, so I used a total of about 70 tassels, and it was for a 12-inch diameter lampshade. If you are using the cotton rope, you're going to uncoil them and it'll make 3 tassel parts, which makes it super easy when you're making tassels. You're going to follow the same process you did on the yarn tassel, where you're going to do a double knot at the top, take about 3 or 4 inches of yarn and put that about 3/4 of an inch down. And you see how I wrap that around a bunch of times? That's so it makes it a little more textural. And then double knot that, and then trim off the little tail ends. And then just keep making these. But first you shake it, and then you'll see how it fluffs up the tassel. Then trim off the edge. And here are the 2 different types of tassels. One is the cotton rope, and one is just using yarn. And just go to town and make as many tassels as you want. I had a latte, sat here, watched some Netflix, and made all my tassels. After you have all your tassels made, we are going to add these to the bottom of our lampshade. And I decided to hot glue these. You could use a needle and thread and tie them and sew them on the edge, but this worked out perfect. So you're going to line up your tassels, and you're going to hot glue. Just 1 little bead of glue is enough to hold it. Don't worry about the long tails. We're going to trim those at the end. And you'll notice that I don't put the top of the tassel, where I call like the little head of the tassel, all the way to the edge. It's just there's a little bit of the string hanging so that it has a little bit of movement when these are all added. And then just add all your tassels all the way around your lampshade. I love the way these look. And then using the cotton rope instead of the yarn, I think really makes it look more high-end. And just keep going, adding a little bead of glue, adding your tassels until you fill the entire lampshade. And when you finish lining your tassels, you are going to simply trim off the excess tails and just go around until you get all of those off. And then you can touch up with any hot glue if you feel that any of them are a little loose, but really one little dab will do it. This turned out so cute. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that this is from a Walmart lampshade. Literally looks like I got it from Anthropologie. So beautiful. And it has texture and a beachy vibe, and it's neutral but kind of high-end looking, and such an easy project. And I hope you guys are inspired to make your own.